Okay, thank you very much again, everybody, for staying online for our presentations. Our next presentation will be on the Bachelor of Construction Technologies. And for the Bachelor of Construction Technologies, we are joined by Dr. Anthony Patera from Construction Technologies. Anthony is a passionate researcher that specializes in the technical advancement of sustainable and recycled concrete. He obtained his PhD in September 2020 and shortly after became an associate lecturer in building design management and construction. He's an enthusiastic teacher and researcher and has worked on with various concreting companies and technology incubator programs throughout his research. I'd now like to pass on to Anthony, who is from the School of Engineering, Design and Built Environment, to give us an overview and some background to the Bachelor of Construction Technology. So thank you, Anthony, over to you.
Hello, everybody, and hope you are doing well. So the Bachelor of Construction Technology, I guess the first thing that you'd want to know about is what sort of jobs you get at the end when we're talking about Bachelor of Construction Technology. It's more the office and management side of construction that you'll be getting into. So you won't become a labourer or anything like that. You're more going to be a supervisor or in the office. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but don't think of you're doing hard work and digging and that sort of thing. That's not what construction technology is about. So let's jump into what it'll look like if you were to do construction technology. So, first off, construction technology is a 3-year full-time degree with 20 core subjects. That means there's 20 subjects that you must do to graduate and 4 electives, which you get to choose. Now, you can get lots of different minors. So like you could be construction technology with a minor in construction economics, for example. And that depends on what you choose for the 4 electives. So there's a little bit of range that you can choose. Unlike our other construction subjects, there's no industry experience required. So some other construction programs requires you to work on a construction site or work in the offices of a construction site for 1,200 hours. That's a lot of hours. So this one's a little bit easier. If the link is forwarded on, you can actually see the subjects that you get to do if you select construction technology. So construction technology, you don't need to have any experience or anything. Don't have to do anything, have any experience or knowledge. We teach you that. So for example, we have just had students join construction technology, and these are the first 4 subjects they do. So I'll just give you a little brief, a briefing on all these subjects to give you a feel of what it would be like to do construction technology. So the first one is drawing in CAD. What you do in drawing in CAD is they get you to design a house. So you start off with drawing by hand, drawing a house in the most effective way possible, and then you'll learn how to make a CAD model of that house. So you do a little bit of design work. It helps you to understand how a house is built, and a very interesting subject. We have construction communication. Construction communication will help you to understand how to come to university. Construction communication, what we do is we basically teach you how to come to university, how to put a report together, how to write, how to reference that writing. And the other good thing about construction communication, you do research into what jobs that you can get after you complete your Bachelor of Construction Technology. So it's kind of inbuilt, you get to see what jobs you get. We have non-residential building. Non-residential building, you get to learn about big buildings. That's my subject, how they're put together, how things are joined together. It's all interesting stuff. And then building science, you get to learn about how different materials work that are used in construction. So that's what you'd be doing in your first semester if you join now. designing building, looking at the different materials in a building and how that building goes together pretty much. So I reckon that's pretty interesting. So Western Sydney University does try to make it as easy as possible for you to follow on and with what subjects you have to do. I've got a link here and you can actually look into, if you press on that link, you can look at the subjects involved in our degree, and you can have, if you click on their code, you can see what you're doing in each subject. So you can actually see what you're going to learn about before you decide to choose it. So you can go on and do that extra little bit of research to see if you would enjoy doing a Bachelor of Construction Technology. So from my experience, I graduated with a Bachelor of Construction Management, very similar to a Bachelor of Construction Technology a long time ago. And you have a wide variety of jobs in the construction industry. There's plenty of jobs to be filled, but all around the world, in Australia, definitely. But there's lots of different roles. So I graduated in 2015. Most of my friends now are estimators. So what they do, they mainly sit in the office. They get sent a building's plans. They look at those plans and they look at all the materials. They get quotes from other people and they come up with the costing of that building. You can see that's more about costing of a building. Some of my friends are what's known as contracts administrators. What they do, they go around maybe to the concreter, they talk to them, they get them to sign the contract and make the deal. So you're dealing with contracts and you're dealing with people in that. You could be a site manager where you're on site making sure everyone's doing a good job. There's so many opportunities and it's very widespread what opportunities you get in construction. And you can go into specific trades. And one of my other good friends is particularly an estimator for waterproofing. So yeah, you wouldn't think about that at the start. You wouldn't think I'm an expert in waterproofing, but that's what he is now. So many jobs available. Just got to follow the opportunities. Yeah, so I think that's construction technology there. If anyone had any questions, I'm happy to answer. Yep, I see some questions.
Hi, Anthony. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Jenna.
Yeah, so we have a few questions in the Q&A chat.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna ask you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see the questions as well. I can see the questions myself.
First question, is there any placement opportunities such as internships while you're doing this degree?
Yes, that's a good question. Actually, our construction degrees are generally designed so you come to university 1 or 2 times a week. So that means you have an opportunity to work in industry while you're also doing the degree. Now, we don't necessarily provide internal internships, but what we do, we have our views page and we advertise jobs on there. And there's a wide variety of jobs. There's very specific jobs. If you're like a first-year student, you might want to do what's called a building cadet, which those will be advertised. And a building cadet, basically what they do when they work for a company, maybe they work as an estimator for a couple months, then they learn how to be an estimator, then they go and work as a contract administrator. They do all the different construction jobs and learn a little bit about every sort of job you do in construction. So we advertise them all the time on views. You do have to put your effort in to make sure that you get it. We don't just hand it out, but yeah, I'd say, yeah, that's it.
No, that's really great. Thanks for the answer. Next question is that, do we get to work with industry partners as part of our studies? So it's kind of similar to what you
Yeah, so for this particular degree, construction technology, it's not required to work with industry partners. But obviously, not obviously, but it's better to have that experience. Now, one other thing is as well, you may get the opportunity if you do construction technology, if you want to branch out to another construction degree, such as construction management, you do need industry-based hours, so you do have to be working for that. So that may be a way you go in the future, but for now, just no need, but it's good to do it, and there's an opportunity to do it. Like I said, 1-2 days a week is our normal schedule, so you have 3 days to do one of your jobs.
Yeah, that's true. And then, so there's another question that do I need to know how to, draw or use design software to design building for this particular course?
So you'll be taught that from the beginning. You don't need to have any knowledge of that. I guess some people are more natural at drawing, but that's not something that's used so much anymore. It's more all computer designed. So if you're not good at drawing, you test out a little bit of your drawing skills, but then we give you the software. And there's a couple of softwares that we have when you become a student that you can use. So you're not limited to one. You have choice there. Yeah. So we'll teach it all to you.
That's great. Do you have any jobs opportunities that you can elaborate just for the students to understand a little bit more, or like what type of companies they can work when they graduate?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll talk to you about a couple of jobs. There's where you work with, like construction. There's big companies, there's little companies. Like I said, there's a big company that maybe they could take in all sorts of different jobs. They're building a skyscraper, so you'll be a big company. That's where you maybe become a building cadet. If you work for a smaller place, like my friend who works in a waterproofing firm, maybe there's less people around, but you're working for a smaller company and you're only estimating waterproofing stuff. One of my other friends works for a fit out company. What fit out is when they build a big building, they do all the finishes, the electricals, the internal walls and all that sort of thing. So he specifically does that. So anything you think of construction, there's probably big companies that do everything of the building, but for every big company that does everything in a building, there's tons of little ones that just focus on particular elements of construction. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I have questions for you. So because I'm not a background in
construction,
construction technologies, so our student in Vietnam, is there any differences between the markets, Australian markets with Vietnam markets, for the student to kind of look into? Because they're studying a Australian degree, maybe when they apply to the Vietnam markets, maybe it's a little bit different, or any transferable knowledge for them.
Yes. So there's one main key thing when I always think about talking international between Australia and Vietnam, the national construction codes and building regulations changes from country to country. So a lot of these subjects, you get a look into the National Construction Code of Australia and that sort of thing. Now, the skill is transferable looking at standard documents like Australian standards and national construction codes, but they're pretty different. I'd say the Vietnam one's probably actually going to be a better code, because in Australia, there's not much occurrence of natural disasters. So our quality of building doesn't have to be as high because there's not as much natural disasters. So you might find that there's more strict rules on some stuff. Yeah, that's the main one that I see.
Oh, okay. So probably our students, when they study these programs in Vietnam campus, they probably need to do a little bit more research into the markets that they were going to work on.
That's correct.
Yeah, definitely.
The codes and regulations, that's where, and some of our subjects do deal with the codes, some don't. So it's not like every subject is looking at codes and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think like during the course, they're definitely going to have a lot of like research paper and report to do. And if we do it in Vietnam, probably the student can research a little bit more about the market in Vietnam. Then they can use the case study from the country to be able to
and pull up the Vietnamese standards and stuff like that and have a look. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, because like, you know, we are doing a Vietnam campus open day. There's some specific things that we need to look into because of different market. But yeah, it's a very, very exciting programs for the students. And yeah, do you have any more, you know, anything else that you want to talk about the programs for the student?
I think just the last thing to say is in construction, we're always building buildings, you know, even if we're knocking down buildings and putting buildings up, there's always construction. So, and construction, you need a lot of people to do it. So there's always opportunities, you know. So we're one of the bigger construction at Western Sydney is one of the biggest first off in Western Sydney, but it's also the biggest construction group in Australia. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunities if you study this.
Yeah, no, definitely, because, you know, Vietnam is growing a lot and a lot of new buildings are being built every day. And yeah, I think it's a very good degree and program for the students to start looking into, you know, moving forward from business that's in the mindset. I'm a Vietnamese. I came from Vietnam campus as well. So I do understand that the market in Vietnam, that the students who when they study in high school, they're normally just thinking about business as their main major because they don't know what to, you know, they don't know what to study or what to do. But by doing this open day, we kind of give them more information. And yeah, we record this session. So hopefully we can use this as a material to promote more in the future for the program. So yeah, thank you so much, Anthony, for your, you know, very, very helpful information about the programs. And we are looking forward to rolling out this program soon to our Vietnam campus students. But yeah, I have posted a link in the chat so the students, they can use it to send us questions. And Anthony, I will send it to you when I collect all the questions. And then yeah,
beautiful.
I will send the answers back to them via email after a few days. All right, so thank you to all the attendees for joining today. We hope to see you soon at Western. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining today. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks for letting me speak. Cheers.
Have a good day then.
Have a good one.
Bye.